everybody, Patriot Sons podcast, episode 129. There's all kinds of cool stuff going on. France has just guaranteed that they were totally willing to occupy Ukraine and surrender in Ukraine after the war is over, guaranteeing that the war will never end. And we also want to look into the history of fraud around the planet that brought to you by Doge and why everybody was so violent and burned down car dealerships because
Yes.
it was pointed out by Doge. So, welcome everybody. How you doing? Hope you're having a good night. Buckle in. We're gonna have some fun.
For those of you that are out there that think I'm nice, and there might be a couple of you out there, I am available for babysitting services. I want you to send your application in for daycare and send the money to my address. And if you want to contact me in the chat or send me a DM on Twitter after this is over, I'll be happy to fill you in on how many kids I can handle and everything like that. I mean, even today, on January 6th, no less, we found out that was Lieutenant Michael Byrd is no longer Lieutenant Michael Byrd. He's Captain Michael Byrd. He's been promoted for killing Ashley Babbitt. Obviously, that's the reason that he was promoted. And he is the headmaster of an illegal, illicit daycare in Maryland that I'm sure is getting Somali type funding. So, as Mark Mitchell, my favorite pollster, and yes, he's a bit of a Cassandra, but he's not as bad as Barris, has said, it's all about fraud. All of it. And you're not gonna get through to anybody without addressing fraud, because Gen Z realizes they've been had, and if you want their votes, you're gonna have to address this.
Or they're not going to participate. That you will have a
Right.
system like that. That is it about a 28% participation rate on a good day, and in a primary or a special election, like a 12% participation rate. You want to make that go down to 2%? Keep fucking Gen Z. Keep fucking them.
Right. Here, write more letters, hold more hearings, do nothing. The exact same thing you've been doing about J6 and the J6 committee. That's the template. You keep doing that to keep the donors happy, and the donors might be happy, but they'll be happy for a little bit until they get Mamdani, who institutes a wealth tax and attempts to take away all of their money.
Well, think about
That's
this. We gotta because it's top of mind for me right now. We gotta look at this and go realize that Gen Z, a bunch of very smart people, they were born with iPhones in their hands. So
yes.
just think about that, and they will be totally capable of creating a crypto economy and cutting the government totally out of their lives. And you go, well, that's illegal, is it?
Is it?
Is it?
And when you do something illegal, what happens to you? Obviously, nothing, because there's a host of examples of people doing ridiculously illegal
How are
things.
you gonna find out how I'm moving money around when I've got 1,000-bit blockchain?
Right, right.
Do you want me to
I mean,
participate with the US dollar? Do something about the fraud, or Gen Z, no, Gen X and boomers will get screwed, but Gen Z and the younger generations will just move away from it totally and say, screw you guys. You figure out how to get money from us now.
and if you guys think we're high on our own supply, we're not. You're minimizing something of the most massive generation gap that was initiated in 2007, and we've said it on this show. Steve Jobs invented the iPhone. So while someone like me has a nice TV downstairs, at least for now, and watches it, okay, Gen Z doesn't watch television. They don't get any information from television. None. Zero. Okay? Older millennials might get a little bit of information from television, but downstream from that, almost no one is watching television. They're
Nope.
watching Nick Sorter on YouTube, and he's pointing out the exact same things that Elon Musk pointed out. And all of a sudden, he's cut through the white noise, and there's this traction.
Well, and,
And
and
all of a
the other
sudden,
Nick Sorter's in his late 30s now, or mid
yes,
30s now. The other kid, Nick, is 23. And again, because that's, you nailed it. What people are not understanding is that anybody above, say, 40 doesn't watch television. And,
right.
and anyone under 30 will actually just block accounts that repost television clips. I don't want to hear it.
Blame,
I want to hear from a YouTuber. I want to hear from a TikToker. I want to hear from a Rumbler.
I
I want to
blame,
hear it from them.
I blame Barron Trump. And you know why? He was the guy that had the brilliant idea about getting dad on podcasts and all the rest of that, which was great. But when he heard what Ramaswamy and Musk were doing with Doge and they were going to go through legacy media, he clearly didn't speak up. He should have said, hey, these need to be TikTok videos and show graphs of how much money we're talking about, how much stuff is going on, how much student loan debt has increased, how much housing prices increased. A graphic presentation of how Gen Z is getting screwed.
With some
And it would have,
really attractive Gen Z info babes delivering the message.
yes, absolutely. And I don't even know their names. I mean, I see them, occasionally there's a little sweetheart on a YouTube that I watch for a minute and think about, hey, yeah, I'm 60 something, yeah, whatever. But the point is if they want to deliver the message about what their male provider could do to deliver for them in a domestic situation, they're going to pay attention because that's always attracted men's attention. No
Info
man,
babes sell it for two reasons. Men will watch them, especially the younger generation. Men will watch younger generation info babes, and
always.
women hate them, so they're going to tune in to see what they say.
And to bitch about it and then to repost it and criticize them, which of course spreads their reach further, which is why women have to be the messengers of this. And Elon, love him, think he's like the smartest guy ever, but on this one, airball. And yes, this is hindsight. Thinking about it now, and I couldn't figure out why it didn't work because it made perfect sense to a 63-year-old curmudgeon. Okay,
Hmm.
it didn't go in. In fact, let's think about. I don't know if any of you Gen Z people ever watch Star Wars. The battle scene where Luke's making his final attack run, and the guy right before him, he's going down the what was it, the garbage chute or the air chute or whatever the hell it is, and they're trying to keep the fighters off his back, and they're shooting him, and he goes, "Hits away!" And they go, "Did it hit?" And he goes, "No,
Yeah.
it just impacted on the surface."
Red leader, red leader.
No, the Doge committee, just impacted on the surface, and to celebrate that,
They
hey,
were
MT, go
they
ahead.
were the genius red leader that were pulling off the mission. They needed a hot info babe to explain it to everybody.
And to
They needed
drive the,
Leia to come in and
that's
set
right.
the troops down and
There is
tell
another.
everybody what's going on.
There is another. Yeah, but as if a fitting epitaph, I I I clicked on Instagram today as a moron to see MTG get ratioed about being in Costa Rica, and I wasn't disappointed. But it did occur to me that MTG was the chairperson of the Doge committee in the House of Representatives, and I haven't heard who's taken her place on the same day. Guys, come on. On the same day that bitch McCommunist and Mike Johnson were both implicated in smurfing millions of dollars of campaign contribution through WinRed, which you knew was out there all the time. Ever since O'Keefe blew the whistle on Act Blue, you knew the reason nobody jumped on it was because Republicans were doing the same damn thing, but they were doing it far less effectively and far less egregiously, but they're still guilty.
I thought on that. Let me get your opinion on this because this would be we would be taxpayer funding instead of donor funding. What if we went at every level, at least just let's do federal government alone. If you're running for federal office for Congress, we give you 1 million taxpayer dollars and you have to run it through your Federal Election Commission account so we can see the spending to make sure it's campaign spending, as opposed to you being able to go raise $28 million through whatever means necessary and just cut off all private funding of federal campaigns.
I have
Thoughts?
historically, I have resisted that, thinking that the best way to handle it is always to disclose immediately on the internet, but they're not going to do that.
They haven't been disclosing anything.
No, they haven't disclosed
Well,
anything.
and
I mean,
there's slush accounts everywhere. And like this was famously brought up by the Tea Party that Mitch McConnell controlled the GOP account, and
trashed.
you
Yeah,
had to kiss his ass to get GOP because the GOP is not a party. To be clear for everybody, the GOP is simply a funding mechanism on top of other things like the RNC, another funding mechanism. Oh, the Republicans are the party. They when they register that they're going to they want to run for election, they run as a Republican, not a GOP or an RNC. So those two things, amongst thousands of other things, are funding mechanisms.
they
What
claim
if we cut all that out by saying, nope, you're going to get a designated
amount.
taxpayer amount, even if you suck and you're not going to win, but then we take all private funding out of elections. And they're
I think
all,
it
oh, wait, and to the Libertarian Party, they're all at an equal level playing field with the same dollar amount.
obviously that would come down to oversight, and I always thought that the free market was a better way to go. But given the reality of what we've seen, I don't believe they can be trusted. So I think there needs to be top-down control with someone we can trust that will monitor what actually happens, as opposed to just saying, like the what Rush Limbaugh used to call the "Trust Me Trust Fund" for Social Security. No, no, it's not. The fact is, there needs to be a fixed spending limit, and if money doesn't come from that account, it's illegal.
Oh, that's a good idea. What if we still leave it private but cap it at $1 million?
Right. Cap it,
And
cap it.
for presidential election, for just the president, we cap it at like 10 million, which is
Right.
way they spent each like Kamala and Trump all
No,
spent into the billions. Just cap it.
Sean, Harris raised 2.5 billion
And
after
blew
she
it in
was,
100 days.
yeah, and most of it was blown on Megan Lee Stallion and Beyonce, and Beyonce didn't even sing. And Harris got booed because Beyonce showed up just to get the cash, but didn't bother to perform.
I
I mean,
watched
I've never.
that live. Oh
Oh,
man, you could
oh,
see it in the audience. The audience was like,
oh,
I thought I was gonna get a free Bay concert.
right,
Yeah, Bay
and they
got up, said a few words, had a bad attitude to begin with. Why I'm just here, give me the check, bitch, and
right,
walked off stage and left Kamala up there to cackle for the next 15 minutes.
and the DNC, the coffers of the DNC have never recovered. I see how much money the Republicans have, but I'm ambivalent about it. I don't even care right now because I'm so frustrated. I mean, I look at the Jan 6 stuff. I look at what needs to be done to Jack Smith. I look at the action they need to take, and they're taking none of it. All they're talking about is their spending bill, and they're going to try to do reconciliation, which means they're not going to make any effort to abolish the filibuster. They're not going to fix anything. And it's like, how long do you guys think you can do this dance and get away with it?
That's what they don't get, and that goes back to what I'm saying is that Gen Z, Gen Alpha, like future generations, they're all born with a cell phone in their hand. They already know how to code at 2,
Right.
at 4. Like, and they're already into AI, so they can
Pretty
use
soon
AI
they're
to
just
code.
going to be able to.
Oh,
Pretty soon they're just going to be able to
they
speak
will
it into existence. Right.
they will create an alternative economy and cut the US government off from their lives. And you go, "Well, what
Yeah.
does that mean?" What do you think it means? If the US government can't fund the world,
Okay. Okay.
start
Now
let's
let's.
start smaller. If the US government can't fund itself, what do they do? What do they do?
Sean, I'm a Reagan conservative. Have been forever. Obviously, I'm a JFK Democrat now, as I've discovered it. But I earned my chops as a Reagan conservative.
Yep.
All right. One of my favorite lines that he always said, and he said it in context of healthcare and student debt. Don't you think government should read us the score every once in a while? But they never do. What he said was every year the need grows greater, every year the budget increases, every year it just goes up and up and up with no accountability. I mean, this has been going on almost forever.
Well, since
And
what, 1913?
yeah, yeah, I know what happened in 1913, Sean. I was the Fed. Yeah, I know. That's when that's when private money stopped backing all of this up, and they realized that they could just take, or as Ronald said, we can just take from the people as we need to with the power to tax, and government has used that tax.
Yeah. I love Ron. I do.
We bought
I know he
we
made some mistakes. I've called him out
yeah,
over this past year of us doing this podcast. Ronald Reagan, God bless him. I saw his son passed away. I did not know anything about his son other than I think he was part of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. Good for him. 80 years, pretty good life.
yeah.
I'm sorry you're gone, but I didn't know him. I didn't know anything about him.
We bought 400 TV sets for places without electricity. We bought new suits for Greek undertakers. and,
Dude, he
and,
delivered
and
it in the
frankly,
funniest, most truthful way. It was incredible the way he would deliver this information.
he was just getting started. I mean, it was just a laugh a minute, and you couldn't disagree with him. And everything he talked about is still true. That's the galling part of this. This is 60 years after he nominated Goldwater, and everything he said in that speech is still relevant. It's just
Absolutely.
gargantuan. It's just gargantuan now. And let me just say this much. If you're going to try to make the case that there's not enough money for this or that to Gen Z, and they're watching billions of dollars of paycheck,
Trillions of likely trillions of dollars of
yeah,
fraud every year.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
people just
for
get free
some
stuff and I have to go to work. I have to do
right. I'm a Somali. I come to Washington State. I buy a house, however, and my sister moves in next door. We both make application to be daycare providers, and each of us get $115,000 a year to watch the other one's kids. That's government,
right.
okay? But only
So
but only if you're a preferred group.
I want to be clear. I'm going to leave a lot of things up to people's thoughts, but what I mean by with Gen Z creating a side economy means I do believe that there's plenty of Gen Z patriots, and we see a lot of them on
Yeah.
and that they are going to want to fund a limited government, but they're going to go, you know what? You guys have screwed this up. We'll tell you how much you get,
Right.
and you can't find where the rest of it's at. It's in a blockchain somewhere, and you'll have no idea how much money I made this year.
The largest generation gap in American history occurred in 2007. Those before and those after the iPhone. And those who don't take that into account are not going to win the information war. Mike Johnson, Mitch McConnell. I'm sorry, you're just not. You're not. I mean, even and listen, I don't criticize Trump very much at all. In fact, I've got a lot of nice things to say about him tonight. But the whole Doge thing, it was moderately successful. We did reduce headcount in government. That marginal improvement. The same kind of improvement that Reagan did. With some of his cuts back in the '80s. But folks, at this point, that's not enough. What Nick has unleashed in Minnesota yields the kind of transformative change, if they're not able to contain it, that we need. And he didn't do that with Vivek, and he didn't do that with Rocket Man, or you know what I mean. He just did it with a camera and an iPhone, and he
Right.
walked he walked in and he busted their asses, and
Well,
and they wanted.
to this point, I think you need to be, if you really want to focus your anger. Doge did the work and uncovered
Yes.
almost all of this. There's still more to find, and there's still people working in Doge offices in government agencies. So that
And they did an
well,
incredible
all
job.
they could do is show it to Congress and say, "Look, fraud, waste,
Yeah,
abuse," and Congress laughs at it and goes, "Man, that's fucking cute. Let's pass
isn't it?
another continuing resolution at
Right?
Biden level
We
spending."
can't spare $1 of this 7 trillion. It's got to go through, or else we're going to shut down the government.
Right?
Yeah.
And it does, like, even if you took the filibuster out of it, there's still, you couldn't get enough people from one side in the Senate to say,
No, they
"You
won't
know
do it.
what? You're right. This is clear, visible fraud. Here's the bucket of waste. Here's the bucket of abuse. Let's cut all of that." And
God.
they're like, "No, what? Don't be ridiculous. Don't be
I was
ridiculous."
listening to Tommy Tuberville speak in the Senate. He said it point blank. Well, even if we could muster up the votes to kill the filibuster, there's enough of these guys that'd switch over to be a Democrat to stop the whole thing because they don't want Trump's agenda. And he's right.
I do know he's right.
Yeah.
I've watched this once. I saw this show. It happened in 2018.
Well, no, the first time it happened, excuse me, and I'm older than you, was 1987. Ronald Reagan managed to push through the balanced budget amendment through the House, and he got enough conservative Democrats to vote for it, and they passed it. It was going to go to states for ratification. It was a sure thing. All it needed was 67 votes in the Senate, and it got to 66. There's my man Mark Hatfield of Oregon. Oh, he was him. I don't know if I should. And the media was in high moral dudgeon about Hatfield's decision and all that. And of course, you know what happened. Of course, he voted no. And of course, what the media didn't
He
tell you
just
is that
did it
there's
because he was still pissed at the McCoys.
right. But there were 10 other people behind him that would have voted no if he didn't. They just didn't want to take the heat. That's the way the Senate operates.
Yes.
Oh, it's oh so close. It's like a Lindsey Graham loss. Oh, we were right there, Sean. Oh, we were right. We were fighting to the end, and those damn Democrats. Yeah, how about that, Lindsey? What do you think, Goober? Really?
I
Come
can't.
on.
can't
I mean, you guys think we're fools. You
I can't
really
stand that
do.
guy.
And you just keep playing the same old game. And the game's up.
Well,
The game's up.
but wait, hold on.
Gen Z's not gonna have any of this shit.
Well, hold on. Well, obviously, now that there is a little bit of information that you're able to get out on places like X or Rumble or even Google's making it's still bad, but it's making a change. So YouTube's iffy. We've got no. I'm watching the ticker. We've got no watchers
Voice
on YouTube.
0. I know,
Surprise!
0. I
But
mean,
we have watchers everywhere on all the
I
other
think we're in the
platforms.
dungeon. I think we're in the dungeon. Yeah.
On YouTube, of course, we are. At least they haven't turned it off. You just can't. You're
Yeah,
probably not
well,
gonna
that's
find our channel. So,
right.
well, the question I guess I have for you is, do you think a lot of things are happening? We've explained a lot of things. Legacy media is literally it's a death
Yeah.
breath, the death rattle. That's going away. I'm aware of that. But do you think that enough young people will tune into because TikTok, even though TikTok America under Oracle is coming out this year, that they still won't have their foot on the news and just squashing it into the ground. And a lot of young people don't like X. They just because it's not cool to them. It's you have to be cool to them, and X isn't cool to them.
What is
TikTok,
Sean?
TikTok,
You
to
know
your
what?
point, is very cool to them.
Listen, for those of you out there, what would be a great show would be to talk about what media is cool to young people.
Mm.
Because frankly, I don't know.
Twitch,
I don't I
TikTok, a bunch of a lot of the gaming platforms, which is why we're running
okay.
on one right now, which is why we're live on Twitch. We have a watcher on Twitch. Hi, Twitch watcher. We see
Hey
you.
everybody. We usually have one viewer on Twitch, so yeah, that's good. Whoever you are, we love you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and locals, Optelec. We got
Yeah.
somebody on locals, so thank you. We love it. Chat room's open if you want to drop us something.
Come on, talk to us.
Uh,
We don't bite.
all the rest, of course, our biggest audience, of course, is X. That's no surprise to anybody. We're in that age group where people are on X. I don't see other than Nick Shirley came over and he's done a couple of big podcasts in the last
Oh,
week or so.
he's a
And he said,
star.
"Hey, look, YouTube screwed me. I got like 20,000 views on that video. I threw it
Yeah.
up on X, and within 2 days, I had 85 million views."
1,000,000. Right. Yeah.
Right? Or whatever the number was. So it's like he's like, "Yeah, it didn't go anywhere on my YouTube channel." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll
How
throw it
about
on
that?
it."
Gee, I wonder why not. Yeah.
Is it Gemini?
Same reason I'm looking at that big goose egg up there right now. You know, the thing that still amazes me, and this is a sidebar, is how Megan's uh, main vehicle is still YouTube. I don't get that. How in the world is she doing that? I don't know
Mm.
because it's like the biggest thing YouTube's got at this point.
Well, I don't know because they pick winners and losers for sure, YouTube does. I'm just gonna be honest for people that don't stream, that don't do what we do. They pick winners and losers, YouTube absolutely does. And they will totally platform somebody, and you go, "Really? They'll let them say
Yeah,
that?" But then they
yeah.
take other people, they're just like, "Pfft, nothing, nothing at all." It's I don't know what's going on there. I will tell you that Elon said Google will be important sometime soon. So he must know something, but I don't know what that importance will be.
Okay. I
It
listen.
could be internet satellites.
Right. Well, Seb Gorka is not a Gen Zer by any stretch of the imagination. He's an old cranky Eastern European. But I did once hear a very memorable line from him saying that he believes YouTube has the highest percentage of fascistic censors in the world working within their four walls. And I've seen nothing that would indicate that's not true.
It would seem so. Yeah, obviously, it depends on your content. You like for what we do, X is by far the best, and then Rumble, and we love our partnership with Rumble. have a good time with them. But if you're talking about different things, and especially if you're younger, TikTok is the biggest thing on the planet. It really is. And people can get massive accounts over there on TikTok, which you pointed out. But it also, they are very, very censorship centric. And they will, like, you can post something, it goes right through their AI before you post it. You see it go, and then it posts. I'll post things over there on TikTok. Yeah, we're over there too. I don't post a lot of political stuff. I post like North Carolina historical stuff. But if you want to check it out, it's there. But like I will post something, I can tell immediately within the first 5 minutes if it's going to get views or if it's just going to get squelched from the internet.
Well said. Yeah. What do you think that Nick Shirley stuff would make it there?
No, no,
Okay.
not at all. No, 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 no. It's just too much. It's
Too much truth. Yeah. Can't handle it. Yeah.
and
Hey, you got any kids here at the Leering Center? Yeah.
well, and
It's just
I'm starting to see, and it's become comedy at this point because people are just doing it to troll. Like people are, I saw a group of people pull up outside the Leering Center, get out a 1980s style boombox, and they're
yeah.
twerking and dancing. And then I saw John Rocker rolled into Columbus, Ohio, and he's on the hunt. I know John Rocker, right? And but like,
Yeah.
okay, that now it also still draws attention to it because now it's entertaining. Now it's funny
Right.
to watch the trolls go troll these places, and it keeps it in the news cycle. It keeps it in the
Well,
news cycle.
same way that they showed up in Springfield, Ohio, with the Haitians eating the dogs and eating the cats, that sort of thing. Yeah, a story gets life like that, when
Mhm.
the minor celebrities start showing up and extending it.
And then Fox News has to at least mention it. CNN goes, yeah, so there's this 23-year-old kid who's a super right wing Nazi.
Yeah, of
M.
course.
Snow goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's go back to talking about J6 and how you
Or
tried to
or
kill
or or
everybody.
or Orange Man bad. Yeah, I mean, Orange Man is very bad. Yeah.
Oh, no, the CNN was all over, or M. Snow, sorry, M. Snow was all over J6 today. They even carried the candlelight prayer vigil while they were celebrating the Democrat Senate came out on the steps of the Senate outside holding candles, and they were praying for their successful coup and overthrow of the government in 2020.
For those of you that aren't masochists, back when I was younger, I stayed up on that day, 5 years ago and tuned in to C-SPAN and watched the counting of the electoral votes. And
Yep.
I watched Mike Pence walk around like he was the king of the world, receiving congratulations and praise from all the deep state Democrats and deep state Republicans and getting his gold coins or whatever the hell it was they were handing to each other or whatever. I don't know. I don't even care. I saw that this is the part that mystifies me. I saw the look of relief on Goober Graham's face as he was delivering his speech about how he's done with it, he's done with Trump, and all that. And I just think about what a bigger man Trump is than me. Because the fact is, after I'd see somebody do that, I would mark them for extinction. Right?
Mhm.
And yet he continues to play with them. And it's a mystery to a lot of people as to why Goober is still in the orbit of the president. But as you're watching Marco and we're having a little neocon reprise here in Venezuela and all that, Trump is blending his foreign policy. He's not doctrinaire, not at all. He goes to each situation and he looks at what he thinks he needs to do it. And he doesn't defeat himself with ideology.
He does not. I still, just personally get frustrated with freaking the senator from South Carolina and the fact that Trump has endorsed him again for another
I
6 senators, 6 years
I
of
think it
being the
sucks.
top 100 most powerful human beings on the planet. I can't, and I've tried to justify that to myself other than, Trump's just keeping everybody around him and explaining it in this way, that you should know Trump is a populist. Trump is bringing and I saw even CNN today had a ticker, online that said, right, it didn't say populist, but I think they were getting at that, and I was trying to tune in, to the feed on the internet, and they were just like, no, actually, no, it was. They say, yeah, the populist president. He is a populist president in the fact that he's just trying to bring everybody he can into the tent to get his agenda done. I don't know how the senator from South Carolina helps him get his agenda done, but apparently Trump thinks that, and I'm just gonna have to let it be. I can't.
It's one of
I
those.
can't.
It
I can't.
it is one of those imponderable mysteries that I can't quite figure out. I mean, Trump does not like booze,
Mm,
and one of the few times I've ever heard him tolerate booze from the podium was when he introduced Lindsay in South Carolina, and he was booed. Oh no, Lindsay helps me with the rhinos. Really? Lindsay is a rhino. I mean, Lindsay is a traitor.
yes.
I mean that's how I see him. Lindsay is Zelensky's bitch. All right. I mean, he there's no amount of money that we could give Zelensky that Lindsay would think was enough.
And then you got to ask yourself, well, wait, how much smurfing is Lindsay got going on that is filtered through Ukraine?
Right.
And it's been mentioned before. It's been mentioned by Doge, and it goes unheard. I am glad that Nick Shirley blew up Somali. But that's you go, well, that's actually nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's what, 8, 9 billion, $12 billion. And you go, well, shit, that's a lot of money. Of course it is. We're talking in the areas of 1.5, probably $2 trillion a year of fraud. And then you go, why is everybody angry? Everybody's angry because they have to work and play by the rules, and then all these other people don't have to play by the rules, and they get free everything. Super easy to do too. Really easy to do.
Yes. No, he's an absolute disgrace. And so I don't agree with Trump on everything. I think, let me give you an example of what I agree with Trump on. Okay. You're watching massive civic unrest in Iran.
Hmm.
And Trump is resisting Netanyahu's encouragement to dedicate helicopters and and fighter jets and everything to finish them off. No, he wants the Iranian people to finish them off.
Yes.
Uh, he went in and extracted Maduro, and I saw all the. Look, I love Tucker. Okay, I really do. But the fact is, Tucker, for me, is a little bit doctrinaire about intervention. The fact is, you've got to be able to project power to be taken seriously. You have to. And there's probably no more way to be taken seriously in the third world than to fly in 45 minutes and to yank a son of a bitch out of his palace and bring him back to New York to stand trial. Okay? I mean that's a display of power That gives you
If for all of you that are old enough to remember the band Pantera, it would be called a vulgar display of power.
yes, yes, but only if Republicans do it. If Democrats do it, they're well. Let's see. If Democrats do it, they're General Sherman, right? But if a Republican does it, he's a war criminal,
Yeah,
right?
of course he's a war
No,
criminal.
no, no, I know the game. But the point but the point is a balanced foreign policy is you've got to be able to do that. And we Sean, you're too young, and I mentioned it maybe last night. But I sat there feeling so helpless. We had 54 hostages or whatever the hell it was in Iran,
Mhm.
and Carter sent in that rescue message, and the whole thing just went to shit in the desert because it wasn't executed right. And just think about how amazing it is to pay a 2 a.m. Call to Caracas and
Mhm.
come away with the president. And everyone says no boots on the ground. And my response is, how about for 45 minutes
Yeah.
with no loss of American life? Is that a big deal? How about if you're bringing a criminal to justice? I mean, at least this time we didn't have to count on the IDF to get the bad guys for us like we have throughout the Middle East.
I think I wanna pivot real quickly because of that. We have always had the capability, we've always had the technology, we've
Worse.
always been far better at all of this than anyone else ever, ever, and we have restricted in war after war after war after World War II. And we've
Right.
restricted them and basically told them, "You need to go there and lose." But we'll put something on the TV that says that we're winning.
Police action.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not really fighting to win. You're just fighting. The rules of
You're just gonna
engagement
have
don't.
skirmishes. You're gonna have skirmishes.
Right. The rules of engagement don't permit you to win. So keep your wits about you and good luck.
Right. Yeah. Hunker
Yeah.
down. We're gonna send you out on these weird missions and just watch your ass.
Now I want to follow up on last night. And okay, we're doing all right. I'm looking up there. I'm, I love you guys. Send this show to your friends, okay? Because
Yeah,
we
repost the
tell
show. Yeah, we
yeah,
love you. Repost the show. Send it to your friends.
we tell it straight. We tell it straight. Look, the fact is, Trump is serious about the Western Hemisphere. He's not worried about Europe. He's not worried about the elite opinion from the EU and the World Economic Forum. In fact, he's basically the orange man is giving them the third finger. Right? That's what's going on. And it's as Sean put up last night's topic, that's going on in real time. This, however, what's going on in Venezuela is even bigger than you
Mhm.
can possibly imagine. Because between Venezuela, this is simple math, folks. Between Venezuela and Iran, that's 70% of the oil that the Chinese Communist Party needs to run their economy. Think about it. You think anybody's going to try to invade Taiwan if they can't get oil?
What I
If their
like is
oil's
what I like seeing is all of the people online screaming, "Well, that you're just gonna force China to buy Russian oil," and I say, "Oh, okay, but how are they gonna fucking refine it?
That's right.
How are they gonna refine it?" And then, okay, you missed a step. So Venezuela, because of Chevron, does have a refining station
Yes,
to
they do.
refine heavy sand oils.
Yes,
Thank you,
they do.
Chevron, for going in and doing that. Trump, just like we did with Chiquita Bananas, it's like, and he told Nicaragua, "Give us our fucking banana farms back." Trump is going into Venezuela and saying, "Give us our fucking oil fields back. These are Chevrons." Uh, you could pump the oil and send it to China, and they're gonna go, "What the fuck do I do with this
What
shit?"
are we supposed to do with this? Right.
Right? And the only other really, like, high capacity place you could do that is in South Texas. So, okay,
I
go
mean, you know
ahead,
what,
fucking, uh
Sean, you know what China would do? They'd call up Hunter and tell him they need gasoline and he needs to get on it.
oh, and then you get Burisma involved, and no.
They'd offer him a partnership in,
The
oh, whatever, what,
this
China, oh,
whole, like, left-wing look, though, at the power play of you're teaming up Russia and China. No, you're missing everything, and it like, I recommend we explained it perfectly last night. You can find it on YouTube, Rumble, Locals, Twitch, or X. We lined out perfectly what Donald Trump's play is here. First, it's to destabilize offshore banking in the Caribbean. And then
yes,
second, after that, we really don't care because Russia might actually become an ally. You don't know it yet. You just don't know it yet.
don't know. I mean, obviously, Trump's favorite line before "Thank you for your attention to this matter" was, "We'll see what happens."
Mhm.
And frankly, he's so frustrated with, the US, oh, I don't know, political system where he has no allies in the Congress and he has no allies in the judiciary, and he needs to find a workaround for just about everything that he wants to do. And that's what he's doing. And he isn't complaining and he isn't whining. He's just smiling and
Did you
he's
see him
doing
bitch
it.
did you see him bitch about Thomas Massey today without bitching about Thomas Massey? Oh, it was fucking glorious. Glorious.
You
Glorious.
know what? He Massey might get beat. That guy's polling okay. I mean, would that not be just glorious to take out that little sidewinder? God, I can't
Look,
stand
I'd
that
be
ferret.
happy. I don't know how look, I hope Kentucky can just see what a little douchebag Thomas Massey is. Is he a really intelligent guy when it comes to engineering and building stuff?
Of
Yeah, of
course he
course. I don't
is.
care. Of course he is. And he will go on and he will build out his homestead. He will live off a Tesla battery. He's already done that and proven he could do it with some photovoltaic panels, not solar. They're different. They look the same. He's a really smart engineer. He's just an asshole who hates Trump.
Well, you know when he blocked me? It was when he posted a picture of his livestock and said, "Look at my livestock, how beautiful they are. Not one drop of mRNA in any of them." And I said, "What about your constituents?" Black.
Oh, no, that was a block? That was a block?
Yeah.
Eek, Jesus. If anyone's listening to us from Kentucky,
Ah,
no, we're
I
gonna
mean,
keep saying it, we're gonna keep saying it. So Rand Paul
oh,
and Thomas Massey have you
oh,
absolutely duped.
bitch
So
McCommunist.
did,
Yeah.
Cocaine Mitch McConnell. They had you duped. They're not Republicans.
No, the
Libertarians.
uniparty.
Libertarians are liberals that just don't know it yet, quote Rush Limbaugh. So
Yes. The original patriot's son. That's
yeah,
exactly right.
absolutely.
That's exactly
The
right.
first podcaster, by the way, with the Ditto Cam.
Absolutely.
He was
Hey,
through it before anybody else. Yeah.
there he is, the leader of the opposition. I actually should put this damn thing on the wall behind me, but since I have to move, I'll do it at the next place. All right.
Yeah. When you set up the new podcast studio,
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
get that sucker framed up there.
That's right.
Yeah.
You'd be able to watch it the whole time I'm bloviating. Yeah.
What incredible. Uh, a lot of people called Rush a founding father 200 years too late, and I believe that's true.
Well, the only thing is I don't think it was too late. I don't know how we'd even have a fighting chance now without him.
You wouldn't have had Donald Trump.
No, no. There would have been no there. actually would have never been a Ross Perot or a Tea Party or any of that. I mean,
Mm.
the political class knew what he represented, and that's why they always tried to counter him. And he absolutely slayed them with folksy wit, common sense, and a grasp on current events that tied history with the current situation, which is the format of this show. In case anybody's wondering, that's what we try to do. We would not dare use his name that we're emulating him, but at the same time, history has to be tied to the present for anything to make sense,
Mhm.
and we always try to do that.
No, 100% agree. That would be at least our formatting. Because we want you to understand. We want you to understand when we say something and you go, "Well, that sounds ridiculous." And go, "Well, no, no, hold on. Here's where it
Uh,
started. It started in 1610 in London." And you're gonna
right.
go, "Wait, what?" And then we walk you through that.
And
And then we
here's
go,
and
"Well,"
here's why,
and
right,
now
here's
we
why we
still
say it.
have a Congress that's still acting like Tories. Do you know what the Tory party is? Well, it was one of many parties in, the 16, 17, and early 1800s, British Parliament. And a
There
lot
were
of
there
Tories had moved to the United States, or at least the colonies at the time, right? Because
there
of
were
there's
there
all kinds of good reasons. Yeah,
as I
go ahead.
said last night there were Tories here. They were sleeping over the hill, sound in their beds and warm while Washington and his troops froze at Valley Forge. Only 30% of the colonists at the time were into the revolution. And Washington held it together and persevered and never quit. And that's the blood that courses through our veins, folks.
The
That's
third
why we're different.
Third Amendment of the United States, no quarter, came about because of our hatred of American Tories
Right.
who
Right.
wanted to quarter British troops in
Yes.
people's
Yes.
homes and make that wife feed the troops.
Exactly. And Washington would not do that to anyone out of principle. He'd rather have
Yeah, they
he'd rather
fucking
have
tank
his
capped, they slept in mud.
yeah, and then they frostbite and they lost some toes and whatever simply because he was a man of principle. And sometimes the easy path is not the way to go.
Well, it was also a two-fronted war. I love the Revolutionary War, so thanks for giving me 5 seconds to talk about it. You also had, like, William Davidson, North Carolina, was a general, in the actual regulars. So
Yes.
let me explain so the regulars were the army. The militia was basically, if you think about it today in 2026, the National Guard.
Okay.
Just to kinda, so if you can kinda wrap your heads around that. So he was a general in the North Carolina Regulars. He took a bullet, he went down, he said, "I'm not out." So he came back. So he was very well familiar with General Washington. He was a lesser general. He came back and he fought for 2 more years. Actually, his brother was a major. Lots of Davidsons participated in the Revolutionary War, both in war and other things, just cooking meals, things like that, or giving voluntary quarter, not
Yes.
forced, right? Voluntary. And he got taken down in a skirmish not too far from Charlotte, the north end on the Catawba River. They caught him on it's called Cowan's Ford, where you would. So, for people who don't know, I know I'm trying to bring it down to a level for people who may not understand the words I'm saying. A ford is a place where you can go across a river with your
Where it's
horse or
shallow.
wagon,
Right.
right? There's no bridge. It's the 1780s. There's no
You have
bridge.
to walk through the water. Yeah.
You walk through the water. They ford the water, and they got him. the British regulars, the redcoats, that's a term you should probably understand. But those were British regulars. They got him, they shot him, they killed him at Cowan's Ford in North Carolina. And absolutely Revolutionary War hero, even though he died. His brother, Major John Davidson, was a signer of the Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence, which was a year before the Continental Congress signed a Declaration of Independence. You also hear another one. If you listen to Josie, the redheaded libertarian, there was another pre Continental Congress Declaration of Independence that came out of Delaware too. The colonies were already breaking away from England, and it wasn't just a tea tax. So when you see everybody online say, "Ah, you just don't like it, you don't want to pay your fair share," no, no, no. This was about tyranny.
Yes.
The
Yes.
king was tyrannous. He was
Yes.
brutal. He would burn families in their homes, women and children included. So, you don't think the American people would fight back again? I guarantee you, Gen Z would fight back in whatever way they have, and what the way they have right now is digital.
As long as they put it on their phone, they would fight.
Well, did I just say digital?
Yes, yes, yes. You're not gonna get it top down legacy media, no matter how much Morning Mika tells them they need to care, they won't unless they see it for themselves.
Well, won't there be just some apps that pop up out of nowhere that are super
Could be.
encrypted, and that's how all of the Gen Zs or Gen Alphas now all of a
You
sudden
know what
communicate? And
this
the battlefield isn't people attacking us in the Americas, physical boots on the ground. America is way, way past this. We're going to send Skynet at you. We're going to
yes.
send the robots and Skynet.
But before we do that, we're gonna cut off 70% of your oil.
We're
And
going
then
to
we're
turn
gonna
off
see
power to your entire country and the
and then
internet.
we're gonna see how aggressive you are with Taiwan. That's what we're gonna do.
Can you imagine all of a sudden having to go find a candle out of grandma's nook and you still can't get on your phone and find internet and
Right.
the
There's
you,
got no
like
power.
that's what people aren't seeing. They're like, ah, America's easily. You have no idea what technology we have. You've none.
No,
We
no,
can we could just turn everything
Sean,
off wherever we
Sean,
go.
Sean, we flew in the middle of the night from the Gulf of America over
230
to,
aircraft.
yes, 230 aircraft undetected, all right, blew up everything that could have defended them, extracts, extracted the drug lord in 45 minutes, and then to top it off, bombed Hugo Chavez's tomb.
So yeah, like side mission, they're like, "Hey, by the way, we're here, secretary. Can we just?" And he's like, "Yes."
And can we blow the can
Boom.
we blow the can we blow the shit out of Hugo? I mean, we've absolutely taken all of his shit while he was alive. Why not? Why not blow him to kingdom come? Yeah, go ahead. So they did. I
So
mean, I would love to travel there just to see that. All
when
right.
I
That's
see the
that's the kind of person I am.
no, no, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. But when I see all these accounts, especially European Union accounts,
Oh, stop.
hold on, even if they are real accounts like Helmut, one of the leaders of the European Union, and they post like America is so weak, and I'm like, did you not just watch what happened to Iran and to Venezuela? You're
5
threatening
minutes.
us. You're threatening America over an ice island.
Our our pilots flew a 37-hour mission to Iran and back and
Undetected.
and dropped 12 bunker busters down garbage chutes that were the same size as the bombs themselves and didn't miss. The bombs went in, they went all the way down, and they blew the living shit out of everything that was down there.
So when
Now,
Luke Skywalker took over from Red One, was this not the same thing?
it was the
Like,
same thing. Yeah, he says it's just like hitting swamp rats in Beggar's Canyon. It's not a tough shot, right? I mean, that's like knocking out ragheads in Fordo, right? Anyway, that's listen. The point is that you can't even imagine the capabilities that have been suppressed by our betters because they don't want to. They fear American power. That's really the issue, is they don't like to see America strong.
yeah, no, that's 100% true, and that started really heavily being brought about with Barack Hussein Obama,
Yes.
but to the Western world and then also to the Eastern world, if you're listening, you we don't even know how cool our tech is. So, like, if you want to try us, it just doesn't work. It won't work. So when I see uh, leaders of European countries, small, tiny European countries, and I love you. Be your country. Be sovereign. Leave the European Union. Be sovereign.
I mean, it
We
was
could
only last night
we
that,
could
that
probably
we
work
compared.
we could probably work out a security deal, but you have no idea that we can just turn you off.
Right. It was only last night that we compared Liechtenstein with Canada.
Hmm.
I was going to save that for Monday, but I thought I'd bring it up tonight too, since King Edward couldn't make it.
Internet. I Well, I don't think it was Greenland, but I think it was Canada. But
Fair enough.
I didn't have the heart to tell him in the text group that, dude, I think your nation turned you off again.
I think that's what happened. I mean, they don't want the blowtorch of liberty from Ontario broadcasting or podcasting to the civilized world.
That's sad. Hopefully we can extradite him. He just doesn't seem interested in that for probably good reasons. I think family, but just for everybody that's listening.
Maybe we should extract him if he proves recalcitrant.
Oh, jeez. All right. So real quick before we go, because it is January 6th,
Yes,
Lectern Guy, I didn't bring the audio clip, but Lectern Guy, does everyone know the Lectern Guy? I would
yes,
think everyone is familiar with the pose holding the lectern. He picked up Nancy Pelosi's lectern from
yes,
inside of the velvet ropes. He
yes.
carried it, he took the photo, and then he placed it back. And
He returned it,
they charged him with theft and a felony
of course.
crime. And he had to go home. I knew enough about this guy, but I watched a really long clip, like 8 or 9 minute clip of him today on a podcast, and he had to go home after he'd been charged and tell his 5 children and his wife that I'm looking at not being able to see you again for 20 years because I took a photo with a lectern. And then I want, like, anybody on the left, please join the comments. Tell me how you think that is justifiable.
Hey, Sean, and while you're at it, why don't you tell me how Enrique Tarrio gets sentenced to 22 years in prison when he wasn't even there? And someone needs to tell me where Judge Tim Kelly gets off thinking that that's okay, and why there's absolutely no policing of judicial ethics in the DC circuit. I mean, What
Well,
a
then you got
disgrace.
to look at current congressmen and current senators on the Democrat side are saying, once we get in, we have to punish all
Yeah.
of you Republicans. What do you think that means? It means exactly what they did to the J6ers. So podcasters like us two will be included in that for sure.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And we haven't even made any money, so we probably can't even defend ourselves. Yeah.
No, of course not. We'll just well, we'll pretrial detention, and we'll be
Yeah.
in there for 4 years before we even get a pretrial hearing, which
Yeah.
is what happened to people who
That is
literally was a simple trespass. A simple trespass is a traffic ticket. To explain that clearly, were thrown into a gulag cell for years and never got to see a judge.
the same people who were fine with that are standing up in the halls of Congress screaming about due process for drug boats. Listen, due process is not just for Democrats.
Mm-mm.
Okay? The Bill of Rights applies to Americans. It is not, you are not permitted to enforce that selectively. Yet that is clearly the left's vision of where they want America to go.
But when you look
When
at
you
that,
look at that,
you and I, we're pretty aware of what their intentions are and what their intentions were. What does that actually remind you of? Because they always scream about how it's Donald Trump is this. What is
it's
their
fascism.
actions? Yeah, yeah,
It's fascism. Absolutely. I mean,
it
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah, pure
Well,
fascism.
it could remind you of the 1930s Germany.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
mean,
the thing they're
remember,
calling all of the people who voted for Trump is them.
look, I'm 63. Okay, I know I make reference to my age often. It's just amazing that I'm this old and not dead. Uh, who knows how long that'll last, but only God knows. But I mean, I have learned so much in the past 5 years from beginning with the COVID response. I was buying it until the COVID response, and then things started to happen that just did not square with me whatsoever. And the first thing was there was a very, and obviously I'm in the beauty profession, you can tell. Yeah, who knows for how much longer, but I'm in the beauty profession. I'm an owner of a salon, but a barber was in Michigan, and he said, "Hey, uh, I've got sanitation protocols. I just cut hair. I wash my hands. I can wear a mask. Why the hell can't I be open? I'm going to be open." And so he said he's going to open his shop, and he started seeing his customers. And Gretchen Whitmer pulled his business license.
Yep.
Folks, that is fascism. All right?
Well, and
You
my fear of the last 5 years of what we saw of that the youngest generations, even the Nick Shirley at 23, it
Yes.
will be forgotten in 3 years when we come to the next election. I know you go, but if you're 18 right now or 16 right now or 15 right now, you'll be 18 when you can vote. Will they remember any of that? Will they remember being stuck at home for 2 years or a year, depending on what state they were in, from school, and
Listen,
having to do this e-learning bull crap, and
if
will they
there's any
remember?
seven if there's any 17-year-olds watching right now, I want to tell you, up in Michigan, that governor who her last name is Whitmer, but I call her Shitmer. Okay. The fact is, she was the one who put up the rope lines in Walmart and wouldn't even let you buy seeds for your vegetable garden.
Mm-hmm.
And while you were prevented from buying seeds so you could plant your garden to feed yourself, her husband was up at the lake house up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan boating on the water by himself because he didn't have any COVID restrictions. And they thought that was just hunky dory. That's not okay. I stood there in the county council in our town and I looked up at the county executive, who the pussy was, of course, on Zoom. He's since been indicted. We're going to get rid of him, of course, because he's dirty. But the point is, I looked at him and said, "Hey, Sam," I said, "we got a picture of you at the Blues game. All right, see the Blues pennants right back there." I said, "You're sitting there without your mask. What's that about, Sam?" I said, "Mask up, brother." I said, "But you know what? I can tell you don't want to wear your mask." I said, "I'm good with that. What I'm not good with is you not wearing a mask and telling me I have to.
Yep.
That's the issue."
All right. Tomorrow night, are we doing the science?
Yes.
All right. So tomorrow night we're doing the science.
Thomas Dolby.
You
She
guys,
blinded me with science. That's right.
you guys will love that one. We'll close this one out, but man, if you haven't followed the science in the way that we tell it, go to our Rumble channel, Sean Stromb, Stromb.
Yeah.
Sean is Shaun, and go just check them out. I've got them labeled as the science, so you can find those specific episodes, and we walk you really through. And we're not even done. We've just barely scratched the surface, but
Oh, hell no.
we got 6 or 7 of these things where we walk you through all of this, and we got plenty more to bring you.
Sean, she blinded me with science.
She did blind me with science. I couldn't believe it. Let's close it out. Man, I had a great time. Thanks, everybody. Man, we love you all.